It all started like any regular board meeting in a quiet Midwestern town. Just another Tuesday in Dalton, Illinois. But what unfolded next was anything but routine. Mayor Tiffany Henyard walked into the chamber completely alone. No trustees, no quorum, just her, a microphone, and a speech she clearly planned to deliver no matter what. What followed didn't resemble local governance. It looked like a full-blown performance. A sharp, dramatic monologue aimed not at the absent board members, but straight into the camera and the handful of viewers still watching. "This is not a Q&A," she snapped. "This is my statement." In that moment, the Dalton Council Chamber wasn't a meeting hall. It was a stage, and Henyard had just claimed the spotlight. But that was just the opening act. A real political meltdown was already unfolding. The biggest blow didn't come from the press or political rivals. It came from her own camp. A video, allegedly leaked by someone on her team, tore across social media like wildfire. It, the ultimate betrayal. Others called it long overdue. Either way, the footage sent tremors through her loyal base and chaos through her inner circle. And that was just the beginning. Without board approval, Henyard installed a new village administrator and hired a new attorney. That had been officially canceled. She brought in her personal lawyer not to conduct business, but to scold the trustees who didn't show the optics. Disastrous, her behavior, unpredictable, her grip on power, slipping fast, and she knew it. Think that's wild? Buckle up. As her control continued to unravel, the Illinois Attorney General's office stepped in. Kwame Raoul's team concluded that Dalton had violated the Open Meetings Act not once, but twice, once in June and again in July. Why? Because under Henyard's orders, Village Hall had turned into a lockdown zone. Doors locked, chairs removed, public access denied. And the reason? A childish note written in blue marker that called her and her mother losers. That was the justification. Even more ridiculous, the note was dropped off after the meetings had ended. The Attorney General didn't buy it, calling her explanation completely unjustified. But this kind of excessive retaliation, it's become the signature of her administration. And if that sounds like too much, we're just getting started. After months of ducking accountability, investigators finally got their hands on her township credit card records. The total, staggering $67,000 spent on travel in just 5 months. And that's only from the township side. Add in Dalton's expenses, and the figure jumps past $100,000. Her excuse: she was attending professional conferences. But let's be real. Nothing screams serving the people like luxury hotels and first-class flights, all funded by the very taxpayers she claims to represent. Then came the real game changer. Freeman, her former right-hand man, the one who allegedly knew every secret in the vault. When Henyard suspected he might be cooperating with federal investigators, but here's the twist: the board never approved it, which means legally he was still employed, still had access, still had power, still had leverage. And rumor has it, he's got all the receipts. Insiders say Freeman Matov flipped and started sharing details with federal authorities. That's why Henyard moved so fast to get rid of him, but, as usual, the attempt backfired. And now, ask yourself, if you were Keith Freeman, would you stay quiet? But things only spiraled from there. Charges of bankruptcy, fraud, and retaliation against employees who refused to follow Henyard's questionable orders. But instead of standing by him, she tossed him aside. A calculated sacrifice to save herself, but it only sped up the collapse. Hit back. Then came the lawsuits. 3 former employees are now suing Henyard's administration. One says she was fired for not agreeing with everything blindly. Another claims Henyard blocked his business license out of pure spite. Dwayne Thrasha, former maintenance supervisor, who alleges he was forced out after refusing to help remove a school board attorney. He's also suing, citing wrongful termination and civil rights violations. Every new lawsuit in an already crumbling structure. See the pattern? Under Henyard's leadership, Dalton has turned into a never-ending legal soap opera. New scandals drop like clockwork. More betrayal, more headlines, and more fire to either put out or hide. But the biggest shock came from a voice no one expected: Carmen Carroll. Carl, once a close Henyard ally on the Thornton Township Board, finally broke her silence in a public statement that scorched the earth. "I am speaking up," she said. "I believe Henyard has behaved unethically and in a manipulative way throughout her time in office. Subtle, not even close. It was a direct hit, and Carmen didn't stop there." She accused Henyard of gaslighting her staff, vendors, and even the residents, crafting a polished public image paid for by the very taxpayers now begging for answers, and maybe, just maybe, Carmen's telling the truth. Because these days, Henyard's own words sound more like thinly veiled confessions. At one meeting, she said, "That's why they hate me. Your super mayor rose to power too quickly. It would be laughable if it weren't so disturbing." Ask yourself, does she really believe this delusion she's peddling? But what completely shattered the illusion was how she responded to Carmen's statement. Not with facts, not with documents, but with childish name-calling. She mockingly dubbed her Lion Carol and laughed it off like it was high school drama. In doing so, she accidentally revealed something bigger. She confirmed that Carmen had been there the whole time, a front row witness to everything Henyard wanted buried. Carmen even recalled a moment that could change everything when Henyard allegedly asked her to lie about a shady nonprofit scheme. Carmen refused. That, she says, is when the fallout began. The silence has finally cracked wide open. Residents are no longer whispering. They're speaking up loud and clear. During one of Tiffany's more bizarre outbursts at a recent board meeting, a calm voice from the crowd cut straight through the noise. "The people already know you are stealing from them." The room froze, but Tiffany, she didn't even blink. Instead of stepping back, she went even harder, calling herself divinely chosen, claiming she was rare and one of one. Watching it unfold felt less like a public meeting and more like a solo stage act in an empty theater because, at this point, the audience had left. This isn't leadership anymore, it's full-blown delusion. So where does that leave us now? Federal investigators are zeroing in, legal battles are stacking up, former allies are fleeing, whistleblowers are stepping forward, and the people, they're rising louder than ever. The stage lights are on. The illusion is in pieces. And now the only real question left, what's coming next? Still, Tiffany refuses to let go. She clutches the mic like a lifeline, hoping to drag out the performance long enough to blur the truth. But the curtain is torn. The mask has slipped. No slogan, no flashy nickname, no scapegoat can cover what's already been exposed. The empire she built in fear, manipulation, and tight controls crashing down. Piece by piece, lie after lie. In the comments, is this Tiffany's final act? Or are we still waiting for the biggest twist of all? If this hit you like it hit me, go ahead, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because this ride, it's nowhere near the end. And that insane spending spree, oh, it never actually stopped. Tiffany ran up over $100,000 in travel charges billed to the village of Dalton. Yeah, you heard that right. And her reason? Conference. Attendance. Really, Tiffany. Because nothing screams public service. Like five-star hotels and first-class flights on the backs of the very people you're supposed to serve. And let's bring Keith Freeman back into the spotlight, the man she once trusted with everything. The guy who had access to every email, every document, every secret. The moment she suspected he might be cooperating with federal investigators, she tried to boot him, but plot twist, the board blocked it. So even as she filled the administration with loyalists, Keith remained. Still inside, still holding keys, still holding power, still dangerous. And now, word on the street is Keith has the receipts. Real documentation, paper trails you can't shred. Rumor has it he cut a deal with the feds, which explains why Tiffany suddenly acted like he didn't exist. But her move, it blew up in her face. Ask yourself, if you were Keith, would you keep your mouth shut? And here's where it gets even dirtier. Freeman's no angel. He's facing allegations of fraud, bankruptcy, manipulation, and targeting staff who refused to follow Tiffany's sketchy orders. But instead of backing her longtime right hand, Tiffany threw him under the bus. It was survival mode, but it only made the collapse move faster. Once she iced Freeman out, he fired back. Then the lawsuits started piling in. 3 ex-employees are now dragging her administration into court. One says she got fired for refusing to nod and smile. Another claims his business license was delayed out of pure revenge. And then there's Dwayne Thrasher, former head of maintenance, who says he was forced out for not helping Tiffany eliminate a school board attorney. He's suing too for civil rights violations and wrongful termination. See the trend? Under Henyard's rule, Dalton has turned into a political circus nonstop lawsuits, deception, and scandals. A new drama every month. A new fire to put out or hide. But the moment everything truly flipped, it came from someone nobody expected, Carmen Carroll. Carroll, once a top ally and trusted board member, went public in a powerful statement. "I am speaking out," she said. Tiffany Henyard has behaved unethically, even predatorily while in office. She didn't whisper. She didn't hide behind anonymous quotes. She stepped out front and let it all fly. She accused Tiffany of manipulating her entire circle staff, vendors, voters all, to keep up a fake image, a carefully staged persona bankrolled by the very people now demanding the truth. And you know what? She might be dead, right? Lately, Tiffany's public breakdowns sound more like guilty rants than defenses. In one meltdown, Tiffany barked, "This is why the hate exists, because your super mayor rose too high too fast. It'd be funny if it weren't terrifying." Do you really think she believes this story she's selling? But the final blow to the illusion came in the way she responded to Carmen. She didn't counter with facts or data, she just mocked her, called her Lion Carroll like a teenager in a lunchroom spat. But in doing so, she revealed the real truth. Carmen wasn't just a critic, she was inside. In the room, behind the curtain. She'd seen it all, heard it all. Trusted by Tiffany until she chose honesty over silence. Carmen even shared how Tiffany tried to get her to lie about a shady nonprofit scheme to pin it on someone else. Carmen said no, and according to her, that's when things started to fall apart. Now, the hush is gone. People are done being quiet. At a recent town meeting, while Tiffany went off on one of her rants, a local resident calmly interrupted with, "The truth, the people already know you are stealing from them," and the room, dead silent, and Tiffany. She didn't even flinch. She doubled down again, said she was chosen by God, called herself a one of one. It felt like someone reading lines from a play no one believes anymore. This isn't leadership. This is raw delusion and display for all to see. So where are we now? The feds are circling, lawsuits are stacking, her own crew is turning, and the community, they're wide awake now. Yet there she is, still clutching the mic, still trying to hold center stage, still trying to control the narrative. But the show's over. The lights are on. No script, no costume, no scapegoat can save her now. Tiffany Henyard's rule, built on ego, control, and fantasy, is collapsing under the weight of reality. So let us know in the comments. Are we watching Tiffany's final chapter? Or is there one last bombshell still locked in the vault? If this story hit you like it hit me, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't go anywhere, because this saga, it's far from finished.